We ready to rock?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome to week 6. We are at the official halfway point, technically more than halfway, given the fact that we're a standard 10-week quarter. But in week 6, you're going to face the dreaded midterm exam. It's fine. You're ready for it. It's cumulative, but you know this stuff. You've been diving into it. You've got good feedback on your assignments. You should be feeling pretty prepared at this point. So don't stress out. Don't freak out. If you're having anxiety, reach out to me and I'll give you some tips on how to better prepare. If you feel like the anxiety is too much and you know that you've dealt with it in the past, feel free to contact Access Services. They can give you some accommodations. They're very welcoming department, and they can help you. Sometimes students just need a little bit of extra help and support in order to get through it. So some of the services that they offer are, potentially, it all depends on what you're dealing with, what your doctors say, because they do require some medical documentation. But if you have, a documented case of anxiety, sometimes it will give you time and a half on an exam. So it's if you're feeling like you're just dealing with too much right now, and you need a little extra help to get through, the college wants to help you get there, and they want to recognize some of the unique challenges that are, that every student faces. So this is something that is available every quarter. So if you're finding that that's the case, feel free to just send me a message, and I'm willing to give you an extension while you're waiting for Access Services to do their intake, and they figure out what your accommodation would be. So big thing is, Lisa and I have been talking about it. We want you guys to get A's. We want you guys to be successful, to get through it, and to have your first quarter in this program be awesome so that you can have the energy to get through the last 5 quarters.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's turn over to Lisa, and she'll walk you through her content, and then we'll settle down with a little sneak preview of the midterm exam in HIM 301.
Okay, and before I get started, just to add to the point that Jonathan's making, first, again, you won't have an exam on the English portion, but I have a real problem sometimes taking tests. And I remember when I was taking my comprehensive exams for my PhD, I have a tip for you. And here's the tip. The tip is, don't drink coffee, drink tea. And I'm not a tea drinker, but I will tell you that I was sitting there with my, big quadruple shot of espresso during the first day of testing. That was a mistake. My heart was pounding, and now it was pounding much harder, and that was distracting, and that was difficult for me. The next day of intense testing, I had a chamomile tea. And what I really needed was to relax, because like Jonathan is saying, this stuff. So what you need is to be able to access it from your brain. And the caffeine isn't going to be necessarily useful, though that may seem counterintuitive. And I'm a coffee drinker. I'm looking at my coffee right now. But on a testing day, I'm a chamomile tea drinker. This is my tip to you. Okay. And now for English content this week. Sharing the screen. Okay. Can you see that, Jonathan? Am I sharing? Good. Okay. I'm on week 6 here, and I want to show you that the week 6 textbook is a little bit of a cluster of a bunch of things, but mostly it's dealing with organization and argumentation. And it's got some stylistic tips thrown in there. But this business of organization in every kind of writing, and in particular when you're writing reports, is very, very useful. So the work that we're doing is really very much in preparation here for your next assignment, assignment 3, the next major one that's stacking upon assignment 2 that's due at the end of this week. But you're going to be, assignment 3 is the big one. So we're kind of getting to it early. The big one in terms of your grade, they're all big because they're getting you to assignment 3. Assignment 3 has the synthesis piece to this, where organization is absolutely key. And then it also has a argumentative or persuasive piece to this, in the sense that You're advocating for a way of reading the research, what you've synthesized now, a way of reading this action that you're suggesting needs to be taken. So organization and persuasion is what we're looking at this week. The textbook talks about it. I've got some additional or supplementary information about organized writing. It's just a nice little tight handout. And then a discussion board that's going to focus on persuasion, and then one that focuses on organizational patterns. So again, working with what you're reading and watching. And then assignment 2, which is the annotated bibliography, will be due. Remember that in week 5, you were peer reviewing that. Now you're submitting it for a grade. And once you submit it, as long as it's on time and complete, you'll have an opportunity to revise it further. But you'll want to make sure that you're submitting your very best work so that you're bringing an A- up to an A, rather than trying to work with, something in the low B or C or D level. So that'll take us through week 6. And again, we're getting big chunks of this behind us. Keep in touch. Let us know if there's any way that we can help you at all. We're here for you. So I will stop sharing now. And that's English for week 6.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. All right, so let's explore the midterm module in HIM 301. And I'm sharing my screen. So here's some of the learner tasks, your overview. The big thing to note is that the midterm is focusing on 4 chapters. So if you haven't had a chance to, reread chapter 1, and I know it's been a few weeks, I would recommend skimming through it. So we're going to focus on chapter 1, chapter 4, chapter 2, and chapter 11. It's not in chronological order because it's going by how long ago it was assigned. So what I would recommend doing is just going through and refamiliarizing yourself with the content. Read the chapter summaries at the end. Maybe go through the check your understanding questions that are in there, and that'll give you some good material. Sorry, my daughter is a little crabby at the moment, but we're almost done. So when you get into the midterm exam, you're going to need to use the Respondus Lockdown browser. If you have any issues with that, please contact eLearning. They'll be able to help you. Keep in mind, eLearning is only available Monday through Friday for live help. So if you're planning on taking on the weekend, what I would suggest is maybe reach out to eLearning proactively to get a refresher on Respondus Lockdown browser if you have any questions about it. So they're there to help you, but they won't be able to help you on Saturday or Sunday. So what I may end up doing is extending it to the Monday. That way you have access to eLearning if you run into any technical questions. So I'm kind of make note of that. So it's going to be made up of 75 multiple choice questions. So it's only over the content we've reviewed, but you're going to have a time limit on it. So 150 minutes. So that's 2.5 hours roughly. So make sure you're giving yourself good time. That's 2 minutes a question. That's pretty generous for the most part. So I think most of you will feel pretty good about it. If you can't figure out in 2 minutes, you probably don't know it, would be my guess. So make sure you have your book handy. That way you can make references. Some teachers have different thought process on this. My thought process is, just having worked in the industry for a while, rote memorization is a disservice to your job, the facility, your patients. So for the most part, especially since we're on the administrative side, right? We're not doing patient care. So you don't have to remember the process for, doing an IV or whatever. But when you're talking about the complicated world of billing, of patient privacy, of accounts receivable, finance, all this stuff is ever changing. So I was expected to reference material, reference the updates, look it up before I made a decision, before I processed a bill, before I dropped that claim. So if you're seeing, if hey, I know where question number 7 is in the book, go grab the book, go find it. So the material. It's too much to memorize. But the idea is if you know where to go, then guess what? I'm happy with that. You've accomplished what I've set out to do because you're an informed, educated future HRM professional. So, and that's great. So I've prepped 4 practice quizzes for you. Feel free to take them over and over again. And then this is what the actual midterm exam looks like. So not too bad. Okay, and with that, my daughter is losing her mind and I'm gonna let you guys go. So thank you very much. Good luck, get some good rest. And like I said, if you have any issues, feel free to reach out. So we're here for you.
Yes.
All right.